Tonight on CTV, the candidates for Fort Collins' next mayor and how the election is shaping up.
Then, student advocates bring awareness to the Israel and Palestine conflict on the LSC Plaza.
Finally, Colorado State University's new free speech policy and the student body's reaction to it. All this and more tonight on CTV.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Madison Szpunar.
And I'm Noelle Zellmann. The Fort Collins mayoral race is taking shape as candidates prepare to run for the city's top position. Voters will use ranked choice voting to make their selection this year. Voters in Fort Collins will choose their next mayor this November. 7 candidates are running, including the current city council members Tricia Canonico, Aubrey Francis, and former council member Shirley Peel. Other contenders are Adam Eggleston, Adam Hirschhorn, Jeffrey Shumway, and Scott Van Tatenhove. Ballots will be mailed in mid-October ahead of the November 4th election. The deadline for ballot submissions, both by mail and at drop-off locations, is 7 p.m. on Tuesday, November 4th. Each candidate brings a unique vision for the future of Fort Collins, focusing on issues like affordability, safety, and sustainable growth. With 7 candidates and ranked choice voting in place, Fort Collins voters will have plenty to consider this November. For more information, to hear directly from the candidates, make sure to visit their campaign websites.
On Tuesday, Students for Justice in Palestine, as well as Rams for Israel, gathered on the Laurie Student Center Plaza, each standing in solidarity with their causes. It has been 2 years since the conflict between Israel and Palestine began. During this time, advocates for both Israel and Palestine have been outspoken across the country, as well as here at CSU. Both groups say they hope to raise awareness on campus and bring attention to their respective causes as the conflict continues to devastate communities in both Palestine and Israel.
They're taken hostage, and there are still some hostages remaining.
It marks the 2 years of the current genocide against Palestinians. As we know, Palestinian people have been under occupation and genocide dating for about 100 years now. And so we're here to bring awareness and education to our campus about the Palestinian cause.
Both groups say they hope to raise awareness on campus and bring attention to their respective causes as the conflict continues to devastate communities in both Palestine and Israel.
A shooting in South Fort Collins on September 30th has been officially ruled a murder-suicide, according to the Larimer County Coroner's Office. The 2 victims have been identified as 18-year-old Alyssa Paige Reardon and 20-year-old Marcus E. Jackson, both residents of Fort Collins. The incident occurred in an apartment complex along West Fairway Lane in South Fort Collins, a quiet residential area where police responded quickly to the scene. Reardon died from a gunshot wound, while Jackson died by suicide from gunshot wounds. Fort Collins Police Services Chief Jess Swabata had this to say about the incident. No one should ever have to live in fear or experience violence from someone they love or trust. As the investigation continues, we remain committed to supporting the victims' loved ones and all those impacted by this devastating situation. Fort Collins police have confirmed the incident was an act of domestic violence and continue to investigate. Anyone with information about this case who has not already spoken to police is asked to call Detective Cole Giandomenico at 970-221-6558. Authorities urge anyone facing abuse to contact local resources and call or text 911 if in danger.
On August 14th, Colorado State University implemented a new free speech policy, but despite its name, students say the policy placed strict limitations on how they could express themselves on campus. The policy restricted speech for both students and faculty, raising concerns about the First Amendment rights. Just weeks later, on October 8th, CSU removed the policy from its online library after student pushback.
Even began, faculty approached us and told us this isn't a free speech area. Expression is limited to the LSC Plaza. Do you know what we did? We stayed.
Enforcing the policy, a truck carrying a water tank drove into the plaza and pressure-washed chalk messages written by students. Messages ranging from cheerful greetings to political statements were erased. Students say they were threatened with trespassing and conduct violations, calling the response shocking and unjust.
I'm going to ask you to leave.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you don't leave, then there's a potential that you be cited for trespass.
Okay.
Later that same day, CSU President Amy Parsons said the policy was still under review despite it being enforced hours earlier. That statement fueled frustration among students, this many of whom gathered at the ASCSU meeting to voice their concerns. The university says the policy has been removed for now. However, as CSU reviews its next steps, students say they're not backing down. They plan to keep using their voices and their chalk to make sure their message is heard. But that's all we have for you for now. We'll be right back after the break when we return. Our weather anchor, Aubrey Francis, looks at what to expect heading into the rest of the week.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I'm Aubrey Francis, your weather anchor. Let's take a look at the current conditions. Right now it is cloudy with 71 degrees. The sun sets tonight at 6:28 p.m. Humidity is at 38% and wind speeds are 3 miles per hour headed south. This week we saw dark, gloomy skies partnered with heavy winds you could both see and feel when you stepped outside, indicating that fall is well underway. We did have a few short showers, but nothing you'd end up soaked in, and just a reminder to expect cooler weather as we move through October. Moving down that I-25 corridor for our overnight lows, we're looking at a range of 50s with Fort Collins at 50 degrees and Denver our high at 56 degrees. Looking at the eastern plains, we're dropping a little bit to the 40s with Sterling at 48 and Burlington at 48. And moving over to our western slopes, we're going to drop a little bit more to those 40s and 50s with Craig at 44 degrees and our high for the western slopes at 59 with Grand Junction. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, we're going to have clouds with a high of 71 and a low of 53. The sun is going to set 1 minute earlier at 6:27 p.m. Humidity is at 53% and the wind is 6 miles per hour headed northeast. Looking at our 5-day forecast, on Saturday it's going to be a high of 73 and clouds, but don't worry, that sun will come out the rest of the week, dropping a little bit Sunday and Monday and rising back up again Tuesday and Wednesday at 69 degrees. That's all I have for you tonight, Rams. Now back on desk for Noelle.
Rocky Mountain National Park is feeling the effects of the federal government shutdown, even as the gates remain open. All visitor centers inside the park are closed because there aren't enough staff to run them. The Rocky Mountain Conservancy says visitors should expect limited trash removal and bathroom cleanup and are asked to take out what they bring in. Park officials also warn that emergency services are reduced, though search and rescue will continue when possible. The timing of the shutdown could be especially damaging, coming during leaf peeping and elk season, when tourism is at its peak. Advocates say keeping parks open without enough staff could lead to overflowing trash, damage to trails, and safety risks, similar to what happened during the 2018 shutdown. Governor Jared Polis says the state is exploring short-term options to support the park, but a long shutdown could still hurt Colorado's tourism revenue and nearby gateway communities.
Fort Collins Transport bus service is cutting back routes starting Monday due to budget constraints and a city hiring freeze. Route 10 and the Saturday service on Route 9 will be suspended, while Route 81 will run less often. Transport says operating costs have doubled since 2019 and $750,000 in funding is gapping, driving further changes in the city. The city is now developing a long-term transit plan expected by 2027.
Colorado State University President Amy Parsons delivered her annual fall address this week, focusing on the theme of One CSU.
Thank you for joining us here today on the historic oval of Colorado State University.
With an audience of more than 2,500 packed into the oval, President Amy Parsons took the stage to deliver her vision for the year ahead. Built on the message of unity, one CSU.
Today we succeed through the commitment to our priorities that guide all that we do and are grounded in our strategic roadmap. And what is always our #1 priority? Student success.
This does give us time to have that direct ear to what the issues that, impact us really are.
The address also celebrated record-breaking research spending, new campus facilities, and CSU's move to the Pac-12 athletic conference.
The university has put a lot of funding in recently to being innovative and opening research centers and redeveloping buildings.
Student government leaders say the address reaffirms a commitment to collaboration and to facing challenges together.
Students being invested in any scope is beneficial for everybody involved in the conversation.
Parsons closed the message by tying it back to CSU's roots, with an emphasis on democracy and urging students to always lead with curiosity and courage.
We will always be a place where ideas are tested and truth is pursued and where knowledge is advanced without fear or compromise.
I think that we're expecting to see a really big year for change.
The fall address closed with a clear message. CSU moves forward, united in purpose, grounded in tradition, and focused on the future.
Fort Collins construction is underway on a new 38,000 square foot homeless resolution center set to open in 2026. The $27 million project at 1355 Mason Street will add 250 beds, a day shelter, and 24/7 dorms. Leaders say the new facility comes as the current shelter remains closed after the fire, leaving many without a place to stay this winter. Don't go anywhere. We've got more news coming up after the break. Payton Barill joins us next with a look at what's happening at CSU sports, including highlights and updates you won't want to miss.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Fans, I'm your sports anchor Payton Barill, and tonight we'll take a break from football and sneak a peek at the upcoming basketball season. In the 2024-25 season, the Rams made program history with the most wins, going 26-10 overall, 16-4 in the conference, and earning the Mountain West Championship title for the first time since 2003. They also booked themselves a ticket to the March Madness tournament, where they won their first game, then fell to Maryland in the second round. Head coach Nico Medved was a big part of the team's success, proving himself capable of leading the Rams to victory. He coached for 7 seasons, making it to the NCAA tournament twice, the first in 2022, which was the first time the Rams made it to the tournament in 9 seasons. Sadly, he announced at the end of last season that he would be heading back to his home in Minnesota to accept a position coaching Big Ten school Minnesota, taking with him forward Jalen Crocker-Johnson. Unfortunately, these were not the only goodbyes we faced last year. We also lost a handful of seniors, including Nick Clifford and Jalen Lake. Clifford led the team in points all season and has since been drafted in the NBA, where he's playing for the Sacramento Kings. Lake was a true Ram veteran who was at CSU for all of his collegiate career, making a strong impression on his teammates and fans with his mark on numerous buzzer beaters. We also said goodbye to Kyan Evans, who entered the transfer portal, announcing he will head to the University of North Carolina, where he will still be a Ram, but sadly not for Colorado State. Even though we bid some of our best players and Coach Medved farewell, there is some good news for the upcoming season. Assistant coach Ali Frokmanish was promoted to head coach and will start his 8th season with the Rams. Frokmanish has been with the team through thick and thin and knows how to keep the momentum better than anyone else. Returning with him are juniors Rashawn Bemba and Nikola Japka and sophomore Kyle Jorgensen. As for the rest of the roster, the team welcomes 6 transfers and 2 freshmen. While the starting lineup will look very different from last year, the hope is that the foundation they built will pave the way towards another successful season. The Rams will play in an exhibition game on October 25th in Omaha, Nebraska against Creighton before the regular season officially starts on November 3rd. Joining the Rams at Moby will be the Incarnate Word Cardinals. And that's all for tonight for sports, but don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll hear from Gigi Berg about the Tour de Corgi and its furry fun.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No. Kevin!
Welcome back, Rams. I'm Gigi Berg, your feature reporter. Last Saturday was the annual Tour de Corgi here in Fort Collins. Hundreds of Corgi fans and their four-legged friends gathered at Civic Center Park, clad in some remarkable costumes. Superheroes to hot dogs to full-on cosplays on paws, corgis of every variety strutted their stuff through Old Town this past Saturday. The annual Tour de Corgi is part parade, part costume contest, and completely adorable.
We like the parade. I kind of feel that every time I go on a walk, I expect people to like clap for me and my dog, and so it's a dream come true.
What started as a small gathering of corgi lovers nearly a decade ago has grown into a full-on community celebration, complete with vendors, food, and a whole lot of tail wags. Each human-puppy pairing comes with their own unique story.
So I used to work at a Camp Bow Wow, which is a doggy daycare and boarding facility, and there was a customer that brought Sketcher, and they found out his kid was allergic, so they actually asked if I wanted him. So it's kind of a match made in heaven because I knew him, so yep, we've been together ever since.
The event also raises money for local animal charities, helping dogs of all breeds find their forever homes. But for most of these short-legged stars, it's mostly a fashion show.
Dale is kind of like Beetlejuice, I feel, like he's a little bit of a terror. So I think that it kind of fits him. He's got the like really spunky corgi attitude.
Ultimately, Tour de Corgi is a positively fun event for everyone to enjoy. For CTV 11, I'm Gigi Berg. I had a doggone good time at Tour de Corgi, and I'm already counting down to the next one. I think it's an abomination you guys weren't at Tour de Corgi last weekend.
That is pretty rough that we didn't attend.
I think we should all stop hounding on each other for not going to Tour de Corgi. I have it set on my calendar for next year, ready to go.
That's all we have for you tonight, Rams.
Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for more content. Thank you for tuning in, stay safe, and have a great weekend.
Pretend like we're talking. Yes, that's right.